Hey everyone, it's Janet. I have another book here to share with you. This one is not really a scrapbook, it's more of a memory book, and I made it because around Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year's, I was feeling particularly blue, and I don't know if it was just because of the holidays or oh, it was a bunch of things. It was the holidays and it was work and it was just things that have been going on. And I decided that I wanted to do, because I was feeling blue, is like, okay, then I'm just going to work this out. I'm going to do myself a little blue mini. So I did this book as a more of a memory book to commemorate all the things that happened last year, because last year was just absolutely the worst year ever, for me and my family. We just had so many things going on. We had illnesses and deaths and um, accidents and just some big things that went on. So I decided that I wanted to not forget how this year was and what had happened. And so, anyway, this is the result of it. And this was my way of commemorating it and kind of working through some of my feelings about what had happened. So, I titled it Under the Blue Moon, which I thought about calling it In a Blue Funk, but I decided that Under the Blue Moon was maybe a little more romantic, so I left it with that. And I used a lot of different blue toned papers in this, and blue accented papers. Um, I used the Lost and Found collection. I believe it was the first Lost and Found that came out, and I used several of those papers. I used a Graphic 45 paper. I used a TCP Studios paper. I used um, a couple Mariposa papers, and some other My Mind's Eye papers, and some I don't even know what they were. Like this polka dot, this glittery polka dot on the cover. I don't know what that is. So anyway, this is the binding, and I just used ribbon for binding. This was the first time I'd done a ribbon binding, and I kind of like it because I was able to adjust it for the size of the mini, which it's not real thick, but I did want to make. I knew I couldn't really use binding rings on it, so what I did was I just used some cutouts here. These are some of those TCP Studio. Well, this one's Graphic 45, but and then this is a stamp. And that's a stamp, and then some punched stars, and then I did use the image of a blue moon in a lot of the images in the book. So I kind of tried to use that as a recurring theme, just because it seemed to me like I was under a blue haze this last year. So it opens up in the first page. This is where I put that Mariposa paper, which I have an 8x8 pad that I had never used. And I just stamped Carpe Diem because I just wanted to remind myself that no matter how bad things were, that not to let the depression and not to let the bad things interfere with making the most of what's going on, because there's still good things going on, and things are kind of what you make it. So I just wanted to remind myself that don't let those kind of things overwhelm you. And I used the Spellbinders Fancy Tags 2 die, I think, here, and then I did one on the cover too, which you probably saw. Over here, I used some Tim Holtz gears. I stamped them. It was just, I think that was some of my Mind's Eye paper, or it might have been the Mariposa paper, but anyway, I just stamped on it, put the gears there because what this was is on this butterfly that I stamped on the back, I wrote, "Remember, Janet, the life is suffering," and that's something that when I was in college, I lived with a Japanese girl, and she had even though we were living in a Christian co-op, she had been raised a Buddhist and had a very Buddhist outlook on life. And whenever I'd be complaining about something or going on and on, she would just stop and very calmly say to me, "Janet, the life is suffering." Just like, did you forget? Um, because that was just a given in her worldview. So I wrote here the wheel of samsara, which is the great wheel of suffering that the Buddhists believe that you're on until you reach enlightenment. So this just represents the wheel of samsara and the wheel of suffering because I felt like I was definitely on that wheel last year. Over here, these are some tags that I did. I used the title of the paper Lost and Found because we lost several people in our family this year, as well as some neighbors and friends. There were quite a few deaths this year, more than maybe it's just the age I'm getting to be, but um, it was. I went to more funerals this year than probably I have in the last 10 or 15 years combined. And so what I did on these tags, the tags represent the three people in my family that we lost. And I used seam binding here, which I had never used seam binding before, and I have to say it is really quite fabulous. It's drapey and shimmery, and I just really like it. So I'm going to try and find some white seam binding that I can dye because I think that'd be really fun. So the tags represent the three people, but the little moon and stars on the top of the tags represent the three babies that were born into our family this year because I just thought that was kind of nice. And I thought on the back what I would do is just write about the people that died and maybe the babies that were born, just as a way of kind of reminding myself that everything is a cycle and that there may be things that end, but there's also things that begin, kind of a lost and found kind of thing. And the tags are all a little bit different. I used a lot of tissue tape in this because I just absolutely, well, it's not all tissue tape. I also use some washi tape and I use some paper tape, but I really like it. And these are just some K & Company cutouts. And then these are Tim Holtz ATC cards from his ideology paper. I think that's what it's called. And then I just use the memo pins at the top to connect the little punched out stars and moon. And the two moons represent the little boys that were born, and the little star represents the little girl that was born. And then that's the last tag. So, and then I just use the tissue tape to hold the memo pin down because I kind of added that as an afterthought. And over here, I did a little pocket, envelope pocket, and I wrote "Catch a Falling Star" because I was thinking I need to hedge my bets for next year. So what I did was, in the pocket, I put a couple of falling stars, and on the back, I just wrote "Good for one rainy day." So I've got my falling stars. I put them in my pocket, and I'm saving them for a rainy day. So hopefully. Hopefully I won't need them, but they're there if I do. And I just put a little brad there. This is a tutorial I saw. Marion Smith did it, and then Stephanie over at StephaGal01, I think it is. She did this too and did a tutorial on it. They're really easy and really fun. And then I just decorated the back. Over here, I did a slider. And this is, I thought it looked like the Titanic, this boat stamp that I had. So I did a slider, and I wrote down here, "Iceberg right ahead," because it made me think of that movie Titanic. And so these might look like my mind's eye banners, but they're really a big iceberg. And it's just heading straight for an iceberg, because that's what it felt like this year, that I was on a sinking ship. So I thought, I'm going to put a sinking ship in here. So, and then there's my little blue moon. And then I took the punch outs from this, I think this is an EK Success border, and then I put them up here to just kind of make them look like splashy waves up here. So, so that was fun. I'd never done a slider before, a penny slider. And if you want to know how to do it, just put into YouTube and do a search for penny slider. There's quite a few good tutorials out there on how to do that. So it's kind of fun. People make cards out of them usually, but I wanted to use mine for my boat crashing into the iceberg. And then over here, this is something I got off the internet. It's a Hokusai's Great Wave painting, which I've always just loved this painting. And see, there's Mount Fuji in the back. He always put Mount Fuji in his paintings. and it's a pocket. I haven't put anything in the pocket yet, but I think what I'm going to do is write out a chronology of what happened this year and slide it in there so I just have the dates of when things happened. But anyway, this wave, it's a beautiful painting, but when you look at it, it's a tidal tidal wave that he was painting. And these little boats here are all the Japanese sailors that I think are going to get uh, um, what do they call it? Swamped. Their boats are going to get swamped, and they probably didn't make it back to shore. So, even though it's a beautiful painting, what he's portraying is this tidal wave, and that's kind of what I felt like that I was. I just had a tidal wave going on. Over here, this I was going to do another thing where I was showing I had a stamp of a train, and I had one of a bus, and I was going to do them where they were colliding just to show what a train wreck things were, but I thought, no, that's just a little too morbid. So I didn't do that, but I did do some train imagery. I had some of these train stamps that I got years ago at Gumbo Graphics that I really liked. And so this one says Spokane, Portland, and Seattle. So I did a Space Needle for Seattle, and then roses for Portland, which is the Rose City, another blue moon, and then a train image here. And then this is some of that TCP Studios ephemera, and it just says rain check on it, which I thought was perfect for Portland. And then down here, this is a Martha Stewart stamp. I think it's called Scary Fence or something. I just cut off the pickets and tried to make it look like a railroad track going across the bottom. Over here, along with me feeling sad about people that I lost and some kind of catastrophic illnesses that my family had, I also, 3 of my favorite stores closed, my art stores that I go to. My local craft booking store that I've been going to for almost 20 years closed last Saturday. Actually was their last day. And so I just stamped a whole bunch of art supplies. I kind of collect stamps that portray art supplies, so I stamped those across the bottom. And I tried to do art imagery on the tags. And then that's just got some more of those graphic 45, just kind of showing how time marches on. Things change whether you want them to or not. Paper Zone here in Portland closed. They closed all over, actually. That was another one that closed. And I used this paper that I love from My Mind's Eye, and it said happy on it, because these stores made me happy. And then there was another art supply store that closed in the fall. So between those 3 stores closing, it just added to me feeling kind of blue and sad. Over here, this represented work. I was really mad about something that happened at work right after Christmas, and so I wrote "Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire" up on the banner. Things have kind of resolved, and I think they're working out. But at the time when I did this, I was really mad and kind of smile though your heart is breaking. And then these are just some little pins that I got at Joann's. They were little plastic pins, and I just put a couple stars and a moon on them. They actually have stars and moon underneath them, but I didn't like the color, so I just covered them in paper. And then over here, I just did this page with the My Mind's Eye paper where it says celebrate. I did a moon, and then I stamped some clouds here, and I put silver lining on them because I just wanted to remind myself that no matter what, things have, a silver lining. Like my dad had a stroke, but he's almost back to normal. My mom fell and broke her pelvis, but she's able to walk, even though it's with a walker, but she can walk again. And the little girl that was born into our family, she had a heart defect, and they weren't sure she was going to make it, but she had open heart surgery and first week of her life and pulled through, and it's okay. And then the last page here, I just wrote the dates on a thing. I put a CD envelope in here that I decorated, and I'm just going to do some journaling and write about what happened and how I felt about it and kind of what the book means. And then the last page is just blank. I may put this tag on it. It's another one of those Spellbinders tags. I may do that and just put my name or something on it. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I know it's not a scrapbook, but I thought you might be interested in just seeing this little memory book anyway. So thanks, and I'll be back soon. Thank you.